Hi there, this is Raquel R.J. James of R.J. Reshapes, and I know I am a bit late in the day with today's Reshaping Relationship Tip of the Day. It's been a really full day, but nonetheless, I'm going to jump right in, give you a quick recap of yesterday's tip, and then I'll get into today's tip. Now, yesterday, the tip of the day was really simple. It was to check yourself before you start checking that list. And that list that I was talking about is the list of characteristics of your potential dating partners, spouses, etc. So again, you started with checking yourself before you started checking off that list. Now tip number two, we are going to follow right along that line. You're still looking at you. So now you've already checked yourself. So now that you've done that, I know there has to be something that you feel like you need to change. And I'll give you a quick example. Some of your characteristics can be great in certain situations or circumstances, and they may serve as negatives in other situations. And I'll use myself as an example. By nature, I'm a leader. So that's great when I'm in a group setting. You know, I've been in group settings, say a classroom, where we've had group projects, and that could have been in high school, undergrad, grad school. There were always group projects. And in those projects, I often found myself taking the lead. Professor assigns a task, I'm on it, I just want to get it done, and so a lot of times I just take the lead. Now that's great in that situation, especially if I'm in a group where no one else wants to be that person that's in the lead and perhaps stand up in front of the class and present our project or whatever the case might be, okay? But at the same time, that leadership skill and ability, it can be kind of iffy in relationships at times for me as a female. I can have a very strong personality. And so I need to know to hone that in sometimes and to let a man take a lead in a relationship. So for me, I can do that if I feel like this is someone that I trust enough to allow them to take the lead. But I'm always aware of the fact that I can be a strong person, I have a strong personality, and so as opposed to jumping in and making all the decisions and taking a leadership role, which sometimes comes off as controlling, I can lay back in the cut a little bit if I feel like this is someone that can lead me. So what characteristics have you found about yourself that you think, okay, maybe I need to make some adjustments here, maybe I need to change something about myself? And I don't care how perfect you are, we all have something that we can change. So I want you to look at that. And I'm sure there are a number of things, not just one. But for now, what I'd like you to do is to choose two things about yourself that you really want to change. Okay? So list two things that you want to change about yourself, for starters. And once you've done that, I want you to then turn around and list some action steps. How do you make those things change? They don't change by themselves. So now I've got my little notepad over here. You're going to list those characteristics that you want to change. Then you're going to choose the two that you want to work on. And lastly, you decide what action steps you need to take to make those changes. And do yourself a favor. Don't start with something huge. Don't overwhelm yourself. And also, don't beat yourself up. Now, if you were a coaching client, I tell you how to break these goals down, and we talk about SMART goals and things of that nature. But just start here. Choose two characteristics to work on, list them. Once you've done that, look at the action steps you need to take. And you can start with small steps. So, today's tip of the day, tip number 2, is for you to choose two characteristics about yourself that you want to change, and then list the action steps needed to make the change. And of course, lastly, you are then going to implement those action steps. You know, I love when people say knowledge is power. Honestly, knowledge is only power if you implement. So on that note, I am going to leave you this evening and tell you to have a fabulously blessed evening. And once again, this is Raquel R.J. James of R.J. Reshapes, and I'd love it if you just stop making a living and start shaping your life. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye bye.